So, hello everybody. Today we're going to take a look at this box. It's called Born of the Gods, Battle the Horde. It's still in shrink. It is a challenge deck, kind of, sort of, which was produced by Wizards of the Coast, and it came out about 10 years ago alongside as part of the Theros block. And what this deck is supposed to do, or does, is it provides you with a challenge as a single player playing Magic against an automated deck. Now this came as part of a larger event, or cycle of events really, where people would be getting a particular stuff at their friendly local game store. There would be promo cards, etc. And you could play against 3 different sets. You started, as far as I remember, out with against the Hydra. This was followed by Battle the Horde, and this was then rounded off with Journey into Nyx, Defeat a God. Now I don't have the Hydra one, but I do have the other 2. And today I would like to take a look at Born of the Gods and also play against it. So the way this works is you get your normal standard deck, so 60 plus cards. So you build it as you would normally build your Magic the Gathering deck, with normal cards, with normal lands, etc. Build it like you would your normal deck, and you also get special cards, because when you were playing the game to begin with, you could earn cards, so-called hero cards, and there were 7 in total. And in the Battle of the Horde, you would start with 3 heroes. You could also start with 0, but you could start with 3. I've got all of these here. They are proxies. I printed them off. And I'm just going to select 3 at random. 1, 2, 3. And let's crack this open. It should come with a play mat, and it should also come with rules. And it does. So Magic the Gathering 13 plus. We're going to open this. I have never looked at the cards online. I don't know what's in the deck. I do want it to be a surprise, just like, you know, when you go up against a divine challenge, you don't know what the gods are going to ask from you. And basically, I also haven't looked at any playthrough videos. If there are any, I don't even know. So this is the deck. As you can see, it's got a different back, so you can't use these for tournament play at all because they have a different back. And here we've got the play mat and the rules. And on the other side you have a really lovely image of, well, the Horde, I guess. These are Minotaurs. So we're going to smooth this out, and then we're going to reset the camera so that we can actually see the deck. Let me see, does this work? Yeah. Okay, so we don't have to go any further. So, Battle the Horde. You have come far, hero, but the next step on your hero's path is the deadliest. You will face the Horde, an onslaught of savage and fierce Minotaurs, an unyielding tide of destruction. As the battle progresses, more and more Minotaurs will join the ranks of the Horde. They will attack at every opportunity, but a strong defense can turn their aggression against them. The Horde will bring idols, talismans, and other remnants of previous conquests. On the battlefield, these artifacts will inspire the Horde to frenzy, speeding up their assault. But if you can send those artifacts to the graveyard, I have 0 artifact control in my deck, I believe you'll reap the rewards. The Horde sorceries make its creatures difficult to handle in combat, but these sorceries can backfire at times. Can you defeat the Horde? To battle. So the Battle the Horde challenge uses the regular magic rules with the following exceptions. Special rules for the player. You start with up to 3 different hero cards on the battlefield. You don't need a hero to play. You take 3 turns at the start of the game before the Horde takes its first turn. You can attack the Horde with your creature as though it were a player, even before the Horde takes a turn. The Horde doesn't have a life total, but its library serves a similar purpose. If the Horde would lose life, put that many cards from the top of its library into its graveyard. They each have a Hero's Reward ability that triggers when the for artifacts cards in the Horde's library. They each have a Hero's Reward ability that triggers when the artifact card is put into the graveyard. You can target the Horde with spells and abilities as though it were a player, even before the Horde takes a turn. Special rules for the Horde. At the beginning of the Horde's pre-combat main phase, each turn, reveal the top 2 cards of the Horde's library. Then the Horde casts those cards. The Horde's artifacts each cause an additional card to be revealed and cast, starting the turn after the artifact enters the battlefield. You make the choice if the Horde needs to make a decision. Ignore effects that would cause the Horde to draw or discard cards or perform any other impossible actions. If one of the Horde's permanents would move to any zone other than the library or graveyard, that card is put into the Horde's graveyard. You win the game if the Horde has no cards left in its library and the Horde controls no creatures. You lose the game if you have 0 or less life. For a more difficult challenge, try taking only 2 turns. Okay, well... No, I think it's going to be difficult enough. So what we need is a spin down counter because we start with 20 life. So we're going to use this one. Actually, we're going to take the one that my cat threw to the ground, because I do remember hearing something and I was wondering what that was. We are battling Minotaurs, so we're going to go for something that's a little more tribal, so we're going to go for the Khans of Tarkir. No, we're going to go for Kaldheim. Actually, we're going to take the Kaldheim one. So we're at 20. Okay, so let's give this a good shuffle. Okay, so we have 3 turns. So first of all, we're gonna shuffle our cards one more time, and then we're gonna draw 7, our starting hand, because obviously this would be our first turn. So since we say we begin, we will not be drawing an 8th card on our first turn. I'm playing a red-blue deck because what I did know beforehand was that the idea is you defeat the Horde by, it doesn't have a life counter, but that its library is its life counter. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and play as many cards as possible that will make the Horde discard cards from its library into its graveyard. So that's what we're trying to achieve here. So, okay, I'm gonna cut the deck. we're going to take a look at what we have with regard to our heroes. We've got the Philosopher. We can pay 2 and tap it, and then tap a target creature. The Warrior, we can tap it, target creature you control gains haste until the end of turn, and we have the Slayer. You start the game with an additional 7 life. Now that's cool. So we're going to put them here to the side, and we're going to give ourselves 7 more life. That's great. So we are now at 27. Okay, so let's draw our first 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see what we have. Okay, we're going to play a land. We're going to play an Is It Guildgate, which enters the battlefield tapped. That's our first. Turn. Then next turn, ready, set, draw. We're going to play Tome Scour. Target player puts the top 5 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. I hope none of those were important for 1 blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then that's now our second turn. We don't have a land that we can play. Ready, set, draw. And we are going to play Thought Scour for 1 blue. Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. No artifact. And we draw 1 card. And then it is the Horde. So they start by drawing 2 cards, correct? The first one is a Minotaur Goreseeker. Haste. Minotaur Goreseeker attacks each turn if able. So it can attack straight away because it's got haste. And we get the Mogi's Chosen. Mogi's Chosen enters the battlefield tapped. And it's also got Summoning Sickness, but since it's tapped, it means it cannot defend. But we're going to be attacked by the Minotaur Goreseeker, and it does 3 points of damage because we have nothing to defend against it. Thank God we started with a +7. Okay, so then that's our turn. Draw a card. I play a land. It's a mountain. And we are going to we're going to play for 1 blue and 1 other mana, Mind Sculpt. Target opponent puts the top 7 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. 1, 2, 3, an artifact. Okay, now we need to check. At the beginning, Hero's Reward. When refreshing elixir is put into the graveyard from anywhere, each player gains 5 life. So you can actually play this with more than 1 person. 9. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then it's the Horde's turn. And they both attack for a combined of 8. I have nothing to hold against them. So Oh, and sorry, they draw 2 more cards, obviously. So before they do anything, they draw 2 cards. We've got an artifact. At the beginning of the Horde's pre-combat main phase, reveal an additional card from the top of the Horde's library. The Horde casts that card. So basically, this gets played, and then this Boar Seeker also has haste. So now they get to draw another card, and it is a Minotaur young horn, which also has haste. So we get attacked for 2, 5, 8, 13. Whoa. So this goes away, and we are now down to 8. That escalated quickly. And of course they are all tapped now. We draw a card, play. We're going to play Searing Spear, which means that the target player takes 3 damage. So we discard 1, 2, 3 cards. And that's it. So they ready everything. And we're dead this turn. And they draw an artifact again. At the beginning of the Horde's pre-combat main phase, reveal an additional card from the top of the Horde's library. The Horde can cast that card. Okay, so essentially now they will attack for 5, 7, 10, 13, and we are dead. Okay, so that went quickly, but I really enjoyed it because I really like the idea of playing this thing solo. The interesting thing is that it said on the internet that it was supposed to be played against one person. It was a solo thing, but then it said that this was later changed, but on this card it definitely referred to more than one player. So I'm not sure if this means that the information was incorrect to begin with, but the cards were correctly stating it's for more than one person. But essentially, I want to play this again. And I will definitely have to look at my deck because I had problems with land draw. I didn't get enough land to do what I needed to do. Because there was one turn when I didn't draw any lands, and of course that was a problem. So that was a very quick foray into Born of the Gods and Battle the Horde. I'm definitely going to do this again, but I will have to work on my deck, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. This was 20 very short minutes of Magic the Gathering solo, but I can totally see the appeal of this, and I'm really looking forward to playing this again. So, hello, here we are back with Battle the Horde, Born of the Gods, MtG Solo. This is going to be my second video, and I'm going to upload them kind of like all in one go. So if you're watching this for the first time, please go to the first one, because that was my first time encountering the Horde with a deck that I had built, and you will see how I fared. And since then I have made changes to the deck, because when I play these, and this is something that I also used to do or would do when I play an LCG. I don't look at the challenge deck beforehand, because to me that's kind of cheating. The idea is that you try to build a deck that is versatile, that will allow you to face challenges, but also, you know, a deck where you know that this is going to work, and will kind of like help you with several types of challenges, but of course there's no guarantee. So again, we have my deck, which is blue-red. The way the game works is you basically have the Horde, which is this deck, but before the Horde does anything, you get to take 3 rounds yourself. So the Horde doesn't do anything for 3 rounds. The way you build your magic deck is the way you would normally build a magic deck, and all of the rules apply. In this deck there are minotaurs, there are artifacts, and there are sorceries or instant, well, I don't even know if there are instants, but there are sorceries. And basically the Horde doesn't need any lands. It always, always, always gets to cast its spells. So gonna cut my deck. We also get to start with 3 heroes, which will give us different benefits. So we'll take this one, we'll take this card, and we'll take this card, and we'll see what we have. So we have, okay, we start with the Slayer, which gives us 7 additional lives. Our life is 27. The Warrior, we can tap this card so that one of our cards gets haste until the end of turn. And the Hunter, we tap this and the target creature we control gets +1/+1 until the end of our turn. So we're just going to put the Slayer up there. Then we're going to take this one, so we are at 27 life. So let's put it over here. Okay, so we're going to draw 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they tell you that if it's too easy, reduce the number of turns that you take before the Horde is released to 2. And if it's too difficult, put it up to 4. We'll see how we fared this time round. Okay. And on our turns, on the first 3 turns, we can actually attack the Horde. And the way you do damage is not against a life counter that the Horde has, but against the deck. So basically you want to discard. So let's play a mountain first. And we're going to play a Voldaren Epicure. And when the Voldaren Epicure enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So first of all, we discard 1 card. And it is this one. Then we're going to give ourselves haste. So the Voldaren Epicure does not suffer summoning sickness, which means we can attack for 1/1. So we discard 1 more card. And that's the end of the turn. And now I have to create a blood token. And I don't have one here, I believe. I'll have to get one from the next room. Just give me a second. So here's our blood token. This token reads, you can pay 1 and tap this token, then discard a card, sacrifice this artifact, and then draw a card. So I don't think we'll be using it. I'll put it up here just so that we know. So this is our first round. So now we're going to have the second round. Ready, set, draw. First we're going to play another mountain. Then... oh, I was stupid. Yeah. I'm going to play the lava step raider for 1. Then I'm going to tap the warrior to give it haste. Then I'm going to tap the hunter, so he gets +1/+1. So it's 2, 2, 3. So we discard 3 cards, and that's the end of our second turn. And I should have given him +1/+1 earlier, then it would have been even better. We draw 1 card. We're going to play Searing Spear, which deals 3 damage to target player. 1, 2, 3. This is an artifact and it has a hero's reward. When Altar of Mogis is put into the graveyard from anywhere, the Horde sacrifices 2 Minotaurs. That's a shame because there aren't any here, but hey, regardless. So this goes onto our discard pile. And then what we're going to do is we are going to attack again with the Voldaren Epicure, and we discard 1 card. And then we're going to no, because this is now, yeah, and then we're going to give +1/+1 to our lava step raider until the end of the round. So this is now the end of our turn, and now it's the Horde that takes their turn. At the beginning of the Horde's pre-combat main phase, each turn reveal the top 2 cards. So this is the Minotaur Younghorn. They all have haste, so they all get to attack on the first round. And this one here as well. So what we're going to do is, and they always attack. It always says they will attack each turn if able, which does make sense. So first of all, we're going to attack with the Minotaur Younghorn. He does 2 points of damage, and we block with the Lava Step Raider, who does 2 points of damage. Damage in this game is simultaneous unless you have something like First Strike, for example, in which case, and also damage doesn't carry over. Unlike Lorcana, for example, where damage stays and you can heal them, at the end of the round, the damage is removed. So he will do 2 damage, and he will do 2 damage. He has 3 defense, and he only has 2 defense. So this guy kills this guy. He's now tapped. And the Minotaur Gore Seeker is going to do 3 damage, and we're going to take it on the chin. So we lose 3 points of damage, or 3 life. You're at 20. So, and so we are now at 24 because we started with 27. So now everything resets. The +1/+1 goes away. We draw a card. It's not what we wanted. We're going to play the Thermo Alchemist. It's a defender. And we're going to attack. So we're going to tap this. We're going to give +1/+1 to the Lava Step Raider. And we're going to attack for 2. For 3. Now he doesn't defend because obviously this would defy the purpose. I do not believe that the Horde would actually defend. One could argue, and also he attacked, so he can't. So we do 1, 2, 3 points of damage. So we discard 3 cards. And that's it. So that's the end of our round. Reset, draw 2 cards. And they're all going to attack. So for 2, this is going to be absorbed by him. And it goes away, and it goes away, and we take 2 points of damage. Everything resets. This goes away. Draw 1 card. We play an island. We're going to play the Gorse Wine for 3. We're also going to give it haste. And we're also going to tap and give this +1. So we're going to attack with 5. 1, 2. This is an artifact, so we get a hero's reward. When plundered statue is put into the graveyard from anywhere, each player draws a card. So the Horde isn't a player, actually, so we get to draw a card. Okay. And then, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to attack with the Voldaran Epicure one more time. And that's all we're going to do. So now it's the Horde. And they draw 2 cards. It's a sorcery. Each Minotaur can't be blocked this turn except by 2 or more creatures. Okay. I'm going to put it here. And then another Minotaur Younghorn. So we can't block. So we're just going to take 2, 4, 6 on the nose. This one goes away. And we are down to 14 life. Okay, so. Draw a card. Going to play an island. So we now have 2 mountains and 2 island lands. Let's see what we can do. I feel we're going to play another Lava Step Raider. Then we're going to give it haste. We're going to give a +1/+1 to our boar. And then we're going to, first of all, attack with the boar for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one gets discarded. This one gets discarded. This one gets discarded. Here we have an artifact, which actually means that we get something for it. The hero's reward for when Vitality Salve is put into the graveyard, each player returns a creature card from his or her graveyard to the battlefield. So we're going to return the Thermo Alchemist, and it doesn't say that they are tapped or anything, so this in theory could attack. So here we go. Then we are going to play the Twin Bolt for 2 mana. The Twin Bolt deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 target creatures and or players. So 1, it's a sorcery that gets discarded, Unquenchable Fury, and a Minotaur Goreseeker. Now the question is, yeah, we're going to leave it like this. Now it's the turn of the opponent. 1, 2, 3, reset. We draw 2 cards, another Goreseeker and a Reaver. So, and they all have haste again, so basically they all get to attack. We're going to we are going to block him with the Minotaur with the Thermal Alchemist. It goes away. Then we're going to block this Minotaur Younghorn with the Voldaren Epicure. Now, it doesn't have trample. So basically, he does 2 damage. This guy blocks for 1. So it goes away. So the Epicure is destroyed. But since this doesn't have trample, I don't get the excess damage. I'm going to block this one with the Lava Step Raider. Which means I'm going to take 4 points of damage myself. No, actually, I'm going to block this one with the Lava Step Raider. And I'm going to take 2 damage and bring it down to 12. Now it's my turn again. Everything resets. Draw a card. We're going to bring in the Immersturm Raider. And we're going to give it haste. And we're going to bring in the Dragon Hatchling. And we're going to give this one +1/+1, and we're going to discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Then we get the refreshing elixir. When refreshing elixir is put into the graveyard from anywhere, each player gains 5 life. So we're going to get 17. We're going to go up to 17. And that's all we're going to do. So another Minotaur with haste and another Minotaur. Okay, so this one does 5 damage. So what we're going to do is we're going to block the 5 one with this Immersturm Raider. And we're going to block this with him, and we're going to end up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 down to 7. Okay, everything resets. As you can see, this is quite a tough game. I'm going to play a mountain. We're going to play Divination for 2 and 1 blue. 1, 2, which lets us draw 2 cards. That's what we were hoping for. We're going to play a sorcery, Mind Sculpt, for 2, for 1 blue and 1 of any color, which allows us to force the opponent to put the top 7 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so they attacked. Plundered Statue. When Plundered Statue is put into the graveyard from anywhere, each player draws a card. So we're going to do this now. Then another Minotaur, 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 Massacre Totem. When a Massacre Totem is put into a graveyard from anywhere, put the top 7 cards from the Horde's library into their graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorcery. Minotaur, Younghorn, Phoberus Reaver, another sorcery, Consuming Rage, another sorcery, Refreshing Elixir, which means we're getting 5 life, up to 12. And we drew a card, and now I'm not sure, did I actually play a land? I did not. Oh, I did. Okay. So, so we're going to give it 1/1. And we're pretty much done now because we will not survive this round. So we draw 2 cards. At the beginning of combat this turn, Intervention of Keranos deals 3 damage to each creature. Each creature. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These all go. He goes as well. So this one remains, and it does 5 damage to us. So that's down to 7. And it's our turn again. We draw a card. It's a mountain. We're going to play Swiftwater Cliffs. Swiftwater Cliffs enters the battlefield tapped. When Swiftwater Cliffs enter the battlefield, you gain 1 life. So, of course, we're going to take that. 8. We're going to play we're going to play the air elemental, which is 3 of any color plus 2 blue ones. So we've just got enough. It's got flying. We're going to give it haste. And we're going to give it a +1/+1. And we are going to attack for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They go away. However, the Horde hasn't won. We haven't won yet. So now that it's the Horde's turn, the Horde cannot draw. So normally, if this was a human opponent, they would be done with. But they still have a creature, which means they are not done yet. They can still play. So it's going to attack for 5. So we're going to lose 5. So we're down to 3 now. It's now our turn. We draw a card. We're going to play a land. We're going to bring out the Mage Ring Bully for 1 and 1. We're going to give it haste. We actually don't need to, but we will. And we're going to give this one +1/+1. And now we don't attack, but we wait for the Horde to do their thing. They come in with 5, 4. We're going to block with these guys. And we're going to eliminate. So he does 5, and we do 7 in total. He has 4 defense. So he is dealt with. And the air elemental. This is the question. Well, actually, we don't even have to. I mean, he does 5, 4. And he does 5, 5. So he has 5, 5. So he does 5 and eliminates him. And he does 5 against his 4. So this one goes away. And the air elemental goes away. So we win with 3 life points plus the Mage Ring Bully still intact. So as you can see, there are a couple of things that one could change about this deck. Namely, bringing in more let's destroy other creature cards. Unfortunately, and this is something that I will look into to see if I have any of those. There are definitely some in white and there are some in black. I don't think I've got any red ones that do that. But pretty much this is how the game works. So if you compare this playthrough to the first playthrough, of course you can see how I have changed the deck. And I like the idea of these solo games. It's very sad that they only, I think, brought out 3. There's the Hydra, which I don't own, and then there's Defeat a God, which is the 3rd in the series. They're all related to the Theros block. You can tell because a lot of this is inspired by Greek mythology. But I think they did a really nice job there, and I think it's a nice challenge. But of course, once you have played through or against this deck a couple of times, you know what kind of things will be happening. And of course, you can optimize your deck. However, what I will say is it gives you the opportunity to try out different things, you know. So for example, how many lands do you really need? In the beginning, I realized I didn't get enough lands to play what I wanted. My cards were too expensive. So I basically changed them for cheaper ones, but also increase the number of lands and reduce the number of creatures. I also have some that are in here that basically force the opponent to discard cards. So I've got Tome Scour, which means remove the first 5. I've got Thought Scour, which means they have to discard the first 2. I also have Counter Target Instant Spell, so that's Dispel, which I can actually remove because I don't play any instants. Now that I've actually gone through the whole deck one time and read it, so I can get rid of this. But then, of course, you've got Cancel, Counter Target Spell. I don't know if I've got anything that will allow me to remove a creature that has already been played. I've got lots of cards that will deal direct damage to the opposing player. Yeah, Dread Waters, which means that you pay X plus you pay 3 plus 1 blue, and X equals the number of lands that you control, and that's the number of lands. That's the number of cards that the other one has to discard. What about this one? Yeah, and cheap cards that basically you can throw at them that are just basically attackers or things that you can use to defend. So yeah, I think it's not a bad deck. I've also got a couple of Chandra instants. So Chandra's Fury deals 4 to target player, and 1 to each creature they control. Chandra's Outrage for 2 and 2 deals 4 damage and 2 damage to that creature. It does 4 damage to a target creature and 2 damage to their creature's controller. Fearless Pup, which is simply basically a quick win. Vidalcan Entrancer, it's a 1/4 for 3 and plus 1 blue, and target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard if you pay 1 blue and then tap them. So that is one way of doing it as well. So it's really one that targets the target player's deck. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely do, and I really like these little helper cards that you get to help you, because I think without them you would be pretty much lost. So talk to you soon. Bye.